this is Calliope Glaros of Philanthropy Without Borders. Welcome to my very new vlog. These are going to be quick 3-minute videos on different topics on donor travel in order to help you plan and implement these journeys for your supporters. So to kick off this series, I'm doing a 2-part special on the role of program staff in our donor trips. Program staff I define as the people that your organization has employed on site to help implement the work. So these could be local people that are employed by your organization in the various countries where you're doing mission-related work. They could be expatriates that have been sent to those locations on behalf of your organization, or they could be people who are employed by another organization that you are partnering with to implement the work. All those people fall under the umbrella of program staff. And today we're going to be talking about the role that they have in your donor trips, because they do play a very important role, just not the one that you might think. So these are 3 mistakes to avoid when utilizing program staff on your donor trips. Mistake number 1, having them plan all of the logistics of the trip in advance. So you might be thinking that the program staff live on site, they know the country, they know the culture, they should really be the ones to plan all of the logistics around a donor trip. However, this is really not a very good use of their time. I have an expression which is that we need to keep program staff focused on the mission, not the meals. That means I want program staff to be really spending the bulk of their time doing what you hired them to do and really impacting change at the sites of your mission work, not calling up restaurants and asking them if they have gluten-free options on their menu, not touring hotel rooms to check out the view and the pool. We really want them focused on the work that they've been hired to do. Also, asking them to plan all of the logistics and get really bogged down in the minutia is not the best use of their skill sets. They're probably going to resent you for it if you ask them to do too much work in that area. So let's keep these people focused on the mission, not the meals. Mistake number 2, having your program staff be the point of contact for your travelers. So I know what you're thinking. You're probably working in fundraising or development. You're based in the United States, in Canada, in Australia, or the UK, and you have programs happening all over the world. When your travelers are emailing you and calling you with questions about what to expect on the site of their visit, you might not have those answers. You might have only been there once or just a handful of times. So you're thinking, I'm just going to forward this email to my program staff and ask them what to do in this situation. They're going to reply to me. Then I'm going to have to reply to the traveler. Why don't I just cut the middleman out and have my traveler interact directly with the program staff? It sounds brilliant. It's actually not. It's a terrible idea. Don't do it. The kinds of requests that our travelers make in advance of a trip, the kinds of questions that they're going to have, require us to have a very high level of customer service. We have to have a lot of empathy and a lot of patience to handle all of their questions. And again, if we make our program staff the point of contact, they are going to get really overburdened by all of the tiny detailed questions that our travelers are going to ask, and they may not be prepared to deliver the best customer service for them because, again, it's not what they've been hired to do. Also, I'm a firm believer that any point of contact should really happen in the fundraising office, because these are opportunities for us to deepen our relationships with our travelers and our supporters who are going on the trip. So use these opportunities to connect with your donors, to deepen those relationships, to put them at ease before the trip instead of just forwarding the burden onto your program staff. Third and final mistake is expecting your program staff to serve as tour guides for local tourist attractions, assuming that just because they live on site or that they are from that local community, they will have a deep knowledge of the tourist attractions that you plan to take your visitors to, and that they will be better served as guides for those attractions. I'm going to debunk this myth right here. So I've been living in Portland, Oregon for on and off for about 10 years. And if you ask me about the tourist attractions here, I can certainly provide you a list talking about Multnomah Falls at the Gorge, Timberline Lodge in Mount Hood, Voodoo Donuts, Pal's Bookstore. I can tell you about all these places based on my personal experience as a visitor. But if you want me to actually lead a guided tour of those locations, if you want me to do a lot of research and planning and preparation in order to be able to give you a deep, rich, nuanced context about the history of these locations, to be able to anticipate the kinds of questions I'm going to get from travelers, and to be able to answer those questions, this is a lot of work. All of that knowledge has not just entered my brain by virtue of being in proximity to these attractions. I would need to do so much research, so much planning and preparation, so much scripting in order to put together a really quality tour. So if I can't give a tour of locations in Portland by virtue of living here for 10 years, I would not expect your program staff, by virtue of being in proximity to those sites, to be able to lead a really robust tour. That is something for professionals and experts to do. So, 3 things not to do with your program staff on a donor trip. Join us for the next series where I'm going to be talking about 3 things you do want to do with your program staff on the trip. Thank you so much.